Hey everyone, and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at a few more different form fields, okay? Some different input types and things that we can have on a form. So right now, we have a name input where we can enter in some text, we have an age input where we can enter in a number, and we have a save button which submits the form. Now, let's just say we want to have a checkbox, okay? So you can either tick it or not tick it. And let's just say this is to check whether or not you are enrolled, okay? So for example, just before we have the save button, I'm going to create a brand new div right here. So /div as well to close that up. And inside of here, we are just going to go create the input tag right here. And we are then going to go is enrolled at the end, okay, just to see, okay, are you enrolled? Now, inside the input, the attribute we need to give it in order for this input to become a checkbox is to set the type to be equal to checkbox, just like that. We can click run, and as you can see here, we now have a checkbox which says is enrolled. So we can tick that, click save, and it will submit it. Another input field we can have is a text area, okay? So right now we have a text sort of field right here where we can enter in a name. But what if you want to have a resizable text area where you can enter in a lot more text than just one single line? Well, for that, we're going to create a text area. So I'm going to create a new div right here. So /div. And inside of here, we are just going to create the text area tag. So here I'll go text area, close that off, and then also create a closing text area tag as well. Click run, and there we go. We have a text area here where we can enter in pretty much whatever we wish. We can create new lines, add more text there. We can even click and drag to resize the box. So if we do want to maybe, copy and paste in some paragraphs, paste in some pretty much whatever sort of text you wish, okay? So what if we want to make something required, okay? Let's just say we have a form here that the user needs to fill out, and we require them to have certain properties here filled in, okay? So right now we have no name, no age, and we click save. That's going to submit it, okay? But what if we want, or what if we require there to be a name and an age? Well, in that case, we can add the required attribute. And to do that, we'll go up here where we have the input name right here. And I'm just going to add in a new attribute, and that is just going to be required. Okay, just type required like so. We can do the same for age here as well. Hit run, and now it looks exactly the same, but let's click on the save button and you'll see it pops up saying please fill in this field, okay? And only once we fill in the field, we can click save again. Oh, we need to fill in an age as well. Hit save, and there we go. It then submits it once we fill in the required fields. And you may notice that this required field doesn't have an equals anything to it, and that is because this is just a true or false attribute pretty much, okay? If we add the attribute here, the computer is going to go, okay, this field is required. It's unlike a type, because with type, if we were just to write type, it would go, okay, but what type? We have to define a specific type for this to be, whereas with required, that's pretty black and white. This is a required field, or this is not a required field if we don't have it in there. Another useful attribute could also be down here in the checkbox. Let's just say by default, we want to have a checkbox enabled. Okay, we want to be ticked by default. Well, for that, we can just add in the checked attribute here. And when we run the page, you'll see that is enrolled is checked by default. We can, of course, uncheck that if we wish or check it again. But that is just how we can have it checked automatically. Okay, so that is a quick look at some extra sort of form fields and form attributes that we can include. In the next lesson, we are going to continue on looking at select inside of forms. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next lesson.